Hey guys, this is Stinger from the Ghost Squadron Airsoft team, and today I'm going to be talking about Android's new HK416. This is going to be replacing the Spectre, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. But if you guys have been paying attention to the Gearset Facebook page or my Google Plus page, CStingerGhost1, you will have seen that as a team we are largely revamping all of our guns. Myself doing an external upgrade of the Wraith, Killer doing external and internal upgrades all over the place with his Reaper, and this gun being built for Android. And while I haven't had any of it on the social media pages, Ghost has been pretty much building his own DMR out of the M16 that he had before. This gun, I did not provide a lot of details for online. There's a parts list for it in one of the cycling test videos, but other than that, I've kind of kept this one a little bit of a mystery just because it's a pretty cool gun. It's the first 416 that we've had on the team, and we also got it through a really cool deal at Future Ball through Phil, so special thanks to him. What he did is he provided us with the externals, which are slightly used as he had them for his own custom 416. These are 2013 VFC 416 externals. And then internally, the base gearbox setup that we had was from a 2015 VFC 416, and then with that I have done a large amount of internal upgrades and tuning. I ripped a lot of the parts from the Spectre and put them into this and then tuned them appropriately. You might be wondering what's happening with the Spectre. It's most likely getting sold. Android wanted to switch roles from being a designated marksman to being a close quarters or more rapid assault rifleman, which is the job that Killer and I have. So he is now with us assigned as a rapid assault rifleman rather than as a support unit. And for that role, he needed to have something that was much more compact and much more attuned to the close quarters environment. And of course, a 416 CQB is perfect for that. This is a relatively short gun. The way that we have it tuned will make it perfect for close engagements. We're calling this the Geist, which is the German word for ghost, because as I've mentioned in many other videos, we name all of our guns after words for ghosts. And this one, because it's a replica of an HK, which is a German-made gun, it seemed appropriate to use a German name for it. So this will be known as the Geist. And I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. I've got all the tuning perfect on it, and once this is completely finalized, there will be a full overview internally and externally. But the way you see it right now, externally is just pretty much the way I put it together for Android, and I'm sure he's going to do all kinds of changes because he hasn't even seen this gun in person fully built. As the way that we got it, it was totally in pieces and I assembled it. So he's going to be putting a suppressor up here. He already has one. Don't know what he's going to do as far as sights and optics go or any other things. But this is just the base setup externally. And then internally, if you want a full parts list, it will be in the description. But like I said, once it's all finalized, I will be doing a full internal breakdown of it just to show you guys and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just going to show a cycling test and talk a little bit about some of the main components that I used. So right now I've got it hooked up to one of my 11.1 LiPos made by Tenergy, 1000 milliamp hour 20C, so that's 20 amps. You can see it's very snappy. Rate of fire is pretty decent. This is running 16:1 VFC gears, which are standard on pretty much all VFC guns. Slightly lower ratio than what is normally common for standard ratio, which is 18:1. So that kind of contributes to it being a little bit faster. In addition to that, it's only pulling an M110 right now, which is why it's so fast. It will probably slow down once we put an M120 in, which we will likely do depending on how this chronos, which I haven't done yet. So we want it to be around arm's length engagement limit, and if it's a little bit too low, like if it's around 310 FPS, which it might be with the cylinder that's currently in it, might bump it up a little bit and put an M120 in and see if we can get it a little bit closer to 350. The motor is a Matrix 3000 Magnum. motor, which is a high torque motor. It is 16 TPA, which is another reason why this is so fast. Even though it's a high torque, it's basically it's Matrix's version of a high torque, which is kind of like the Lonex motors. It's a neo-magnet motor, but it's not a higher TPA just because that tends to slow them down, and they don't really like that. A lot of people who are buying Matrix motors or Lonex motors are putting them in high rate of fire guns, and for that reason I think that Matrix kind of limits it down to 16 TPA, but uses really powerful magnets so that the torque is still really good. Very nice for the way that this is set up, very snappy, and I'm sure that Android is going to be happy with it. The shimming and motor height are aligned all perfectly. I'm really happy with the way that that turned out. Shimming with it was kind of interesting actually, because of this pistol grip right here. The HK pistol grip is quite a bit different, as you can see from an M4. It's larger down at the bottom, and I found it in some ways easier and in some ways harder to do the shimming and motor alignment for it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I didn't have any like really large issues with it not aligning or something. It seemed like the pinion gear went in just fine, and I didn't have any issues with that. So as far as electrical setup goes, the wiring is stock. I believe it's 20 gauge. Whatever VFC puts in stock, I'm not sure. Eventually it might be wired to 16 gauge when I get the chance, but I did put in ultra plugs. So there are Dean's connectors on this. Of course, I mean, that should be fairly self-explanatory. And the MOSFET is a Xortec Xet304, which came stock with the VFC parts that we got from Phil. It's a very interesting MOSFET. I haven't really seen it around very much, but as far as MOSFETs go, I don't have any problems with it. It's a lot more beefy than the Gate Nano SSR that we had in the Spectre. It can take a lot more amperage. I'm interested to see how that turns out. The wiring harness was set up to a dual trigger configuration at the trigger contacts, so I didn't do any changes there. Other than that, this setup is pretty good. We did put Android's ProWin inside of it, as you can see. Took that from the Spectre, and I have flat hopped it. Like I said, there will be a full update video coming once this is finalized, and we'll go over everything that I did to this, every modification and part that I put into it. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this little trailer video for this gun, the Geist, and I'm sure that Android is going to be very pleased with it. So I will leave you guys with some shooting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.